classic teen sex comedy which was released in 1981, was written and directed by Bob Clark, and it features a host of famous Canadian actors including Dan Monahan, Tony Ganios, Cyril O'Reilly, Roger Wilson, and in one of her earlier roles, Kim Cattrall as Miss Honeywell. In this classic comedy, we see a group of teens in 1950s Florida who play pranks on one another, but also are desperate to lose their virginity. We see them go to a brothel in the Everglades called Porky's, and when the owner of the brothel scams them out of their money, the teens decide to take revenge on him. As always, guys, before we go any further, I want you to hit that subscribe button so you can follow this channel. Hit the alarm bell as well so you can get notifications when my videos are going to be uploaded, and give this video a like as well. Porky's was a film that I saw when I was about 11 years old. I saw this film back in 1991, and I'd heard so much about it, and I thought, you know what, let me just go watch it. Porky's was controversial at the time, but it is also a landmark film. When you see Porky's, you can see where such films as Road Trip, American Pie drew their inspiration from. This was a film that defined the term gross out comedy. And this was the film that spawned a host of other teen sex comedy films in the 80s, including such classic films as Fast Times at Ridgemont High and Dinah. Porky's is a very likeable and entertaining film. And what makes it work is the writing, but also the camaraderie amongst the actors and how unique all of these actors and characters are. Porky's has great chemistry amongst its actors, and it's got really unique characters, with Pee-wee based upon the size of his appendage, Bad Boy Tommy played by the late White Knight. You got the really level-headed character Billy played by Mark Harrier. Then we've got Proud Redneck Mickey. You got Tim, who's been abused by his father, and then you got Meat played by Tony Ganios, based upon the size of his appendage. So you got really unique characters in this movie, and they gel so well together. And that is one of the high points in this film. The plot takes second place. It's really the chemistry of the actors that makes this film flow. At 90 minutes plus, Porky's can seem a bit muddled, purely because there's so many things that's going on that the plot doesn't remain consistent. You've got these group of teens that love to play pranks on one another. You've got a basketball coach, Coach Brackett, who wants to have sex with Kim Cattrall's character, Miss Honeywell, who also goes by the name of Lassie, and we find out why in the film. We've got a character called Tim who has an abusive father, but he also has some anti-Semitic ideas against the Jewish kid in the school called Brian, played by Scott Colomby. And Proud Redneck Mickey, who we can say is the leader of the gang, who after getting scammed by Porky's, keeps on going back to him and he keeps getting beaten up. It does seem inconsistent, but it works because a specific amount of time is allocated to each segment of the narrative to make it flow. And it doesn't feel that anything is actually rushed or hurried over. Porky's is a film that isn't to be taken seriously. It has some hilarious moments that after 40 years still hold. Porky's at the time was somewhat controversial, purely because there was a lot of full frontal nudity, there was a lot of swearing in it, and at 4 years old it seems tame compared to today's standards. But it is still entertaining nonetheless. And there are just so many comedic moments, from the pranks that the guys play on one another, to the classic Michael Hunt telephone prank, to the joke that is played on Pee-wee where he's called the biggest dickhead and they have this really large condom that they place over his head as a joke, to our sex-starved teens watching the girls shower, and one of them, Tommy, actually places his appendage through the shower hole, where Miss Ballbreaker, played by the late Nancy Parsons, catches a boy with his appendage through a shower hole. Yeah. If you haven't seen the movie, watch it and you'll see what I'm talking about. There's an even funnier scene in the movie where she actually explains what happened to the principal, and you can see the two coaches laughing in the background, and that scene is absolute classic comedy. To the scene involving Lassie, played by Kim Cattrall, and also, because there were so many, each character has their moment in the film. So it doesn't feel like, okay, this character is just in the movie for the sake of being in the movie. No, they all have their moment. The arc of the characters isn't that strong, but because the characters are so likable and the chemistry on screen is so potent, because the charm of the movie is forgivable. And it's really entertaining when we see that the group just finally come together in the final segment of the film to get revenge on Porky. Porky's is a movie with heart. If you take away all the teen sex stuff, there are some real deep issues that this film covers, including Tim, played by Cyril O'Reilly, who is being abused by his father. And the views that Tim has are the views of his father. They are not necessarily his own. And when he gets into a fight with Brian and gets beaten up, his father takes it out on Tim. And when Tim's father goes to confront Brian, Tim defends Brian and says, you know what, I'm not afraid of you anymore. And we can see that Tim realizes that he was wrong for what he did. So it was really good to see, like, you know what, prejudice doesn't work. And it was really good at that scene where we see these two finally become friends. But Porky's at 40 years old, it still holds. And unfortunately, they did 2 sequels that, in my personal opinion, were just lackluster. Porky's the Next Day and Porky's Revenge, it just felt like they were doing these sequels for the sake of doing the sequels. Both sequels, I feel, lacked the humour and charm of the first film. The first movie stands as the best. And after 40 years, it is still thoroughly entertaining. And it is a landmark film. Wyatt Knight, who played Tommy Turner, sadly passed away in 2011, but some of the remaining cast members of Porky's are still alive and still meet up for retrospective discussions about Porky's, as it is such a landmark film. You see this film, you can see what other films such as Bachelor Party drew their inspiration from. So if you haven't seen Porky's, give it a watch. So I'll give this one a very strong 9 out of 10. So guys, that's my review. Thanks for watching as always. Please click that subscribe button so you can follow this channel. Hit the alarm bell as well so you get notifications when my video is going to be uploaded. Give this video a like as well. Leave your comment with whether you've actually seen Porky's and what do you think about it. Comment down below and I shall see you all on the next film review.